Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. It is June 11th, so that means it is time for me to take you all along on a monthly walkabout. I did one of these on May 11th, so here we are back in the garden to show you what's happening, what has been happening, and how things look so different just 4 weeks later. Isn't that the excitement for those of us that love to garden, is to plant these little tiny plants or seeds and then just, I mean, it's just fascinating, the growth and the excitement and the beauty that all these things are bringing to the garden. So that is what today's video is all about. I thought I'd start here right in front of the greenhouse to highlight these gorgeous planters. And then we'll take a walk through the raised bed vegetable garden, herbs, and some cut flowers. And then I want to take you all up into the pollinator patch. Those of you who have seen my other videos know that my husband and I converted 2 acres of our property to a monarch pollinator habitat. And it has just been such a joy and delight. I was out there yesterday. Oh my goodness. Fritillary butterflies by the hundreds, bumblebees, hummingbird moths. We have lots and lots of dragonflies right now. Anyways, more about that later when we get out there. But look at these beauties. So check out a video that I posted about potting up these favorite aquapot lights. These are self-watering containers. So I will post a link to that video below. They are amazing. They just do so well. And I keep saying it and I keep saying it, and I'm getting lots of my friends converted to understanding that they need the proven winners, Super petunias in their garden. If you have a teeny tiny place with hardly anywhere to grow anything, but you've got a little balcony or whatever that gets plenty of sun, and you've got a pot, grow these petunias. Wowzer, they are spectacular. So I've got the indigo. I can't ever remember the striped one that's purple and white, and the mini vista white behind. And then my new one, I keep saying my new favorite. I have so many favorites, but Gara. Discovered this this year, and I will be growing this in many of my pots. Oh, and there's a bumble. The Gara is a big pollinator attractor, and there's a beautiful bumblebee. So I'm going to grab the camera, stop talking, and get it in my hand, and let's take a walkabout in my June garden. Wanted to provide you all a close-up of the pot, and let's see if I can get little Bumble in the video. There he or she is enjoying that Gara. Yep, so here it is just a month later. I'll see if I can find a clip of the video of when I first planted these out a month ago and show you the tremendous difference. Now, they look big and lush and full, which they are, but they're nowhere near their mature size. I expect them to really spill over the edges of these pots. Okay, I think it's time for us to head into my raised bed garden. Let's go into the raised bed garden. Before we get in there and look at all the different plants that are growing, just a little background. So when we started our raised bed garden, it was this and this box. So 2 4-foot by 8-foot boxes. And it eventually morphed into, now I've got 9 raised beds in there, and nice gravel pathway that has landscaping fabric under it. So while it gets a few little weeds from the birds dropping weeds in, it's really easy to maintain. And we have to put up a 6-foot tall fence because where we live out here in the country, we're exposed to lots of beautiful wildlife, and the fence has worked beautifully. Never had any issues. One year we had some bunnies managing to chew through our fencing, which is just that plastic black fencing. And so we erected all around the perimeter. We put some chicken wire in, and that has stopped that from happening. So let's go in here and take a look at what is happening. I will make sure I link the May walkabout video so you can see and appreciate the massive transformation. So, first bed, my nasturtiums. Wowzer, wowzer, wowzer. Aren't they spectacular? In fact, just last night, oh, look at the dew. How pretty does that look on their leaves? See that? It's early morning here. Uh, but anyhow, I digress. Edible flowers, absolutely beautiful. Great to repel garden pests. Just last night we went to a potluck with a group of friends of ours, and I brought a lemon orzo salad with roasted vegetables, and of course I decorated the top with these beautiful edible flowers. They just make everything gorgeous. All right, the other thing in the bed, I've got my garlic on this side and on the other side. And for those of you who have never grown garlic before, this is my first year too. But what you do is, in my Zone 6B Mid-Missouri garden, you plant your garlic cloves in October, and you end up putting them in the ground and letting them grow until the next June or July. I've been asking for advice from my much smarter friends, much more experienced garlic growing friends, when I should harvest. And the rule of thumb is when the bottom 2 or 3 sets of leaves start to look bad and dried up, it's time to harvest. So I'll be taking you all along on that adventure. First time ever harvesting garlic. I'll probably be pulling these in a week or two, and I will make sure I capture that on video. Okay, this bed didn't have any tomatoes in it the last time we did the garden tour, but oh my goodness, I'm so proud. These tomatoes I grew from seed in my greenhouse. I've got Lemon Boy in this bed. I've got Sweet 100s, my favorite cherry tomatoes. They're putting on flowers. Lemon Boy already has some tomatoes. Looking great. You can also see I prefer using straw mulch in my vegetable beds. Have used it for years and years. It works great. I don't pull a weed hardly ever. So, and you know, packing stuff in helps too. Just the other day, I showed you this tower basil. There's a tower basil that I planted out, but I want to show you my baby basil. Let me get in here if I can with my camera. Got to go down quite a distance. There's my basil, and I have several of them planted in between my tomato plants because basil repels the hummingbird moth who lays its eggs that turn into the dreaded tomato hornworm, which can decimate your tomato plants in no time. So really proud of that bed. So let's look at this next one. Okay, there's Jerome. Jerome, I hope he's working his magic. If you haven't met Jerome, he's my sweet garden gnome that my son gifted me, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And he just, I discover him out here. He's in different beds each day, working his magic. And here's the bed that has, in the front, some pepper plants. The lunchbox variety, I think I've got an orange and a red, the little ones that are so fun for snacking. I've got stock, some beautiful flowers. Eventually, there'll be beautiful flowers that I grew from seed. I wish I could tell you the variety right now. I can't remember. My lemongrass that I just popped in there the other day. And then if we get in here real close, I've got zinnias, the Senorita variety. And what I did is I direct sowed my zinnia seed. We'll get down here close so you can see it. So you see my drip line? So what I did on these is I sowed the seed near, see this emitter? So see this hole? So I tried to put the seed near my emitter holes, and I got okay germination. And so this whole end of the bed has the beautiful fluffy pink Senorita zinnia seed. I think I got that from Johnny's Seed Company. And then of course you're going to notice all over the garden I have nasturtiums. They act as a great host plant for aphids, but also they repel other things, and they just bring some beauty. And in this third box over here in the front, no surprise, I've got some nasturtiums that I grew from seed. And then I've got 3 peppers. So I've got serrano, jalapeno. Look at all the peppers already. And Anaheim. Oh, hello, Anaheim. Look at the peppers. Yay. Got my basil that I mentioned, why I use basil. These are the ones I grew from seed, the little bitty ones. And this is the one, these are the ones I found, the tower basil at the local nursery. And then I've got, let me come around here. I've got 6 more tomato plants that I grew from seed. My all-time favorite heirloom. I've got 2 of those, Cherokee Purple. I have, let's take a look, Amish Paste. I'm trying that for the first time. And it's got some fruit, see there? Amish Paste. I've got Harvest Moon. I've never grown Harvest Moon. So that's a first for me, but it looked interesting on the seed packet. And then let me come around here real quick. Hope I didn't make anybody dizzy. And then the celebrity tried and true, and another row of garlic. And again, this is going to look different in just a couple weeks because I'm going to remove that garlic and start harvesting it. Oh, there's a pretty flower that will become a beautiful Cherokee Purple tomato. And then down here on the very end, I don't know if you can see this cosmos, but I have some flowers. Let's see if I can come around here with the camera. Japanese Kiro is the variety. Aren't those sweet? Creamy white with a nice yellow throat. So those are growing up. In this bed, we have some cilantro. I've harvested a lot of the cilantro already in my Zone 6B mid-Missouri garden. Cilantro loves cool weather, and it's going to be in the 90s at the end of the week. So I'm going to harvest all of this and get it inside in the refrigerator because it's going to bolt. In fact, when you start to see it shoot up and it's going to try to set flowers, that means it is done. And I grew the slow bolt variety, which I've already harvested, and this is called Cruiser. The only other thing that's in this little bed are these 3 dahlias. And I took you along recently and showed you how to pinch your dahlias, the center. And did I pinch this one? I did not, so I'm going to now. So let me show you real quick, and check out my dahlia video. But come in here and you find the very center, and you pop this little bit out. And by doing that, it will branch off and give you more and more and more flowers. You can see some bare spots. See these 3 canes, these bamboo stakes. Well, I put some tubers in there, and I was doing an experiment, and the tubers I planted, only 6 in this bed, were really small, and I wasn't sure if they were completely viable. They all had eyes, they all had sprouts because I pre-sprouted them this year, but nothing in these 3. So anyways, that just means something needs to go in here, and I'm not sure what it is, but I will figure something out. And if you guys have ideas, I've got just, this bed is about 5 foot long, and maybe I've got 18 inches. So what can I put here for the summer that will stay nice and play nicely with the dahlias? Love to hear your ideas. These 2 boxes are only about a foot wide. I don't know how many feet long, probably 8 feet long. And they have the cattle panel arch because this is where I like to grow my vining crops. And you saw nothing in here last month, but now you can see my green beans, and I'm growing the Seychelles variety. And those were all direct sown in this box, so they are pole beans and they'll be delicious. Let's come around here on the other side. Let me get in here close. My favorite spring crop, sugar snap peas. Oh, so darn delicious. So these are also a spring crop. They like cooler temps. as I mentioned, we're going to get into the 90s at the end of the week. So I'm going to come out today and harvest most of these because they're going to be done very soon. In this box, I have onions, which look great. They're doing really well. And these are scallions. They're not bulb onions. I'm going to use them as scallions. And I'm trying my hand at growing leeks. So do you see all this green growth? These are leeks, and I really want them to do well because I use leeks in cooking, and leeks at my supermarket are expensive. And I've got Swiss chard. I've got the rainbow variety. They're looking great. I need to make something with those soon. And then my first time ever growing beets. And again, all these things I've grown from seed all by myself. Some direct sowed, some I started in the greenhouse. These are golden beets. It'll be a minute before they are ready. It'll be quite some time. But look at the rainbow chard. I mean, the 5-color variety. Isn't it just glorious? Look at how beautiful that is. And tasty too. In this bed, we have 3 pepper plants, and I just transplanted them. These pepper plants were in a different bed, and they got gobbled up by those gorgeous nasturtiums that I showed you in the beginning of the tour, and they need more sunlight. So I had planted in here a bunch of radish, so radish came out. They were done. They're a spring crop, and the pepper plants are in here. And let's see what variety. I've got them labeled. Okay, a pretty purple bell, a yellow bell, and a Cubanelle red. Next door, I've got carrots. I've got bicolor carrots, rainbow color carrots, so all different color of carrots. And I'm really happy about that because I've not had good luck growing carrots in the past from seed, but this year they're looking good. And on the opposite side, you know how I like to mix up flowers and veg? They make nice companions. In this bed, this side of the bed, I have the floret seed, the zinnia seed called Precious Metals. And again, I've got a little weed here that needs to come out, but again, my idea was I tried to sow seed near the emitters so that I know they'll get a nice drink. And the germination was okay. I'm not sure what the heck happened here. Yeah, so there aren't any there, but just yesterday I went ahead and sowed some more seeds. So I'm pretty confident that they'll catch up. But look at, I mean, I've got peppers. So excited. And I've got a little pepper here and plenty of flowers. So pollination is happening, thank goodness. All right, last little bed, last but not least. So this bed had a bunch of spring crops. It had lettuce, it had arugula, it had spinach, which it really didn't have because, as I mentioned in a prior video, yeah, my spinach game is sad. I cannot grow spinach, so please help me. If you have a variety of spinach that does great for you and you're in a zone 6 like me, please advise me. I would appreciate your help. I really love spinach. I love to eat it and cook with it. So, but what you're seeing here are 6 of my dahlias, tubers. I planted tubers here in this bed. These I am supporting with bamboo stakes. I just did a video that came out on how to, in my other zinnia bed on the south side, how to create supports using twine and uprights. Check that video out. But for this particular application of my dahlias down there, yeah, I just used these stakes. And so as these beauties grow, I will use some twine or something and use them for support. Use that twine as a support. But let me come in here and show you. So I showed you all how to take the tops out of your dahlias when they get at least 3 sets of leaves, and look what it does. It produces more strong side branching, which means more flowers, which is always a great thing. I now see what the fuss is about. This has been incredible. It has not been going very long at all. And so my plants are loving this, absolutely loving this. So just a real quick thing. This is where you put all the water. It goes down the main tube, and each one of these has a water reservoir that fills up and slowly drips water into each pocket. And it's just been unreal. Look at my parsley. So parsley that I grew from seed in my greenhouse. They were teeny tiny parsley plants. I've got some spring onions going. Second and third tier are the strawberries, and that's really my purpose behind getting this, is because I wanted to grow strawberries. However, I'm out of space in my raised bed garden, and strawberries in the ground take up tons of space, but in these planters, they do great. And this is the ever-bearing type of strawberry, so it will flower and produce fruit off and on all season long. Down here, I'm pretty sure green onions. And oh my gosh, you all, so check this out. You followed my videos, you know that I started a whole bunch of pepper seeds and they were on the struggle bus. I mean, really bad. And I thought they'll never grow. Yeah, well, I put them in here and they are growing, growing, growing. So that's super exciting. So yeah, I'm a convert for sure. This little vertical garden is just the best. So it's time to head over to the pollinator patch. I need to go change my shoes. I'm wearing flip-flops right now. I'm not sure why I put those on. I think because it was easy, but I'm going to need better footwear. So I think I'll go find my garden clogs and then we'll get to it. Before we head up to the pollinator patch, we've got to walk by Maggie's garden. I've shown you this little patch of hostas that I am growing in tribute of my late mother-in-law, who was a hosta expert and just loved, loved, loved them so much. Just in a recent video, I showed you I planted in 3 fire and ice hostas. I wanted to introduce some bright variegated foliage into this little bed here, and you know, we don't have much shade on our property, so under this little cluster of trees, why not? I used the no-till method on this bed, meaning I put down cardboard and loaded it up with about 6 inches of compost on top and let that cure, and then started planting in it, and so far so good. I am going to come in here probably later today or tomorrow and mulch because I am having to pull a fair amount of weeds. Mostly, they're really offshoots of runners from the trees that are coming up. So that'll be an ongoing challenge for me. But anyhow, it will be pretty. And again, I'll bring you back in July, and it'll look even more lush and full a month from now. Okay. It is early morning here. There's a beautifully cool breeze, but we may not see many pollinators this early out and about, but we're going to head up into the pollinator habitat and see some of the different foliage. It's going to look very different than it did last month because all of that coreopsis that was just exploding for a good 4 weeks, that has done its job, and it's taken us a back seat to some of the new things that are popping out in the pollinator habitat. I thought I might start our little tour up here on the top of the pollinator habitat where we've got some wonderful seating. I think it might be a little bit easier to see. I've got the sun behind me, so hopefully I won't shadow things too much, but it looks a lot different to you probably than it did last month. That sea of coreopsis that was everywhere is gone. It's done its thing. In fact, I can show you what that old coreopsis looks like. So you can see most of the blooms are gone. I mean, there are still some blooms left, that beautiful golden color, but a lot of them have done their thing, and now it is time for other things to take over. So yeah, I think we'll just do a little walk through here, and I'll point out some of the natives, and maybe we'll get lucky to see some pollinators. what I want to point out right now that I was so happy to see, and I'll have to zoom in, is coneflower. And you see, oh, it's just tough lighting this morning. It's so bright. Right in the center, that is a purple coneflower, echinacea, for those of you who like coneflower, a native species. We don't have a lot of that in the garden yet, which I'm hoping that will change. Lots of yarrow. Now the yarrow is a big pollinator attractor, and we had plenty of the yarrow when the coreopsis was in full bloom, and it is still going very strong. If we look down here, we can see some black-eyed Susan. They are starting to show off. Lots of that. I'm getting lots of variations of milkweed. I think we planted probably 4 different varieties of native milkweed. Loads of dragonflies everywhere. Now, it's a little early in the day, but yesterday when I was out here, oh my goodness, fritillaries everywhere, loads and loads of butterflies. So let's just walk down through here. Lots of yarrow. I want to show you the fleabane because this is really coming on strong. Let's see if I can get in here. Let's go really close. So there are these little bitty flowers that have white and bright yellow centers. They almost look daisy-like. So we have a variety of coneflower in the garden and in the pollinator patch, and so I wanted to show you, this is actually considered coneflower. I don't know the name of this plant, but isn't that interesting? And there's some more rudbeckia, and of course yarrow, and of course the sweet little fleabane. Right here we can see some different varieties of milkweed, as I mentioned, so they're really starting to come on, and I don't know what these tall things are. So anybody watching this that are my naturalists that really have a background in wildflowers and natives, you can ID some of these for me. I would love it. Oh goody, here's a coneflower, a purple one. I don't have many of those, but I'm hoping that they will cast their seed at the end of the season and show me some more purple beauty. Here's this little hot pink beauty. I need more of these in my life. I have to figure out what that plant is because I don't see many of them in this garden, and boy, oh boy, I sure would love to see more and more of that plant growing. So that's going to do it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as you got to come along on my June walkabout. We looked at the raised bed garden and took some time here in the pollinator habitat. Stay tuned soon. My next video that I'll be sharing will be Walkabout Part 2, which I'll take you around lots of my perennial gardens and some of my other areas where I'm growing cut flowers on the property. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and subscribing so I can continue to share more of what's happening in my Mid-Missouri Zone 6 garden. Happy gardening, everybody.